All right, so what can slow down the housing market in 2021? And in my opinion, there's really only two things that, as of right now, can slow down the housing market. So, what's number one? The first thing that I believe that could slow down the housing market is an influx in inventory. Now, as you see here, I have the MLS already pulled up, and since I'm keeping it local in this video, I have all the cities or towns, whatever you want to call them, in the high desert in the Victor Valley area. So as you can see, I have coming soon, which means these homes aren't even on the market yet. They're not actually for sale yet. They're going to be obviously coming soon. And then we also have active, which means those homes are already active on the market. So if you're ready to buy, you can submit an offer on them. And what I want to show you is if we hit preview count, you'll see we're sitting at 430 listings. Now keep in mind, this also has doubles, so that number isn't completely accurate. There's actually going to be less homes available to purchase than the 430. So if you've seen any of my market updates, you'll know that currently we are roughly around 1 month's time worth of inventory. We're actually a little less. So what that means is if we don't put another home on the market, it's going to take us less than a month to run out of homes to sell. So what could change the housing market? Basically, in our area, if we have 6 months worth of inventory, that's what's considered a healthy market. So let's just go with the 430. If we were to multiply that times 6, we'd be around 2,400 homes available for sale. Now, even if we cut that in half and bring it down to 1,200, that's going to bring us to about this time last year. So pretty much right at the beginning of the pandemic, when everything started to shut down. That would be, if we tripled our inventory from right now, it would be similar to what it was a year ago. So if you're looking for a house during that time, in some cases you could have had closing costs covered. You're probably still going to have to look. You might get beat out on 1 or 2 offers, but it's definitely not the same market as today where, you know, you're probably going to have to go see 5, 6, 7 homes, submit offers on all those. At the bare minimum, you have to put an offer in at asking price and closing cost. You might get them, but I would guarantee on almost not getting those in today's market. So if we have, let's just say we tripled our inventory overnight, it would basically bring us back to where we were a year ago from today. So I don't really see that happening. Now, granted, if we're dealing with the forbearance and eviction moratoriums, those actually just got extended again. So with that being said, I really don't see that becoming a factor, at least in this year. And keep in mind, if the eviction moratorium just ends, you're not going to get evicted. Let's say it ends on Monday, you're not going to be evicted on Tuesday. There's a whole eviction process that takes place. So it's not going to be the eviction moratorium ends and the forbearance ends, and then, an influx of homes just hits the market. So don't think that's going to happen. Now, the other thing to keep in mind too is with an influx of inventory, it's not going to be similar to 2008. And I believe a lot of people out there think that whenever this market does correct, it's going to be similar to 2008. Now, keep in mind, there was adjustable rate mortgages. You didn't even really need to have a job to qualify for a mortgage back then. Obviously, since then, qualifying for a mortgage is much more difficult. You have to be very well qualified to even get into a mortgage these days. And the other thing to keep in mind is with the housing market the way it is now, people have equity in their homes. Back in 2008 with an adjustable rate mortgage, that payment can balloon up, basically overnight. And if you don't have equity in the home, well, we all know what happens. You get an influx of inventory and home prices drop dramatically. This market is completely different. Homeowners have equity in their homes. So it's not going to be just a drastic, I don't see the housing market just drastically dropping overnight. And I feel that's kind of the, how would you say it? I don't know, I guess it's a situation that people think is going to happen. I don't see it happening that way. So even with the evictions and with the forbearances, the moratoriums in place, all that is going to take time to be processed. So even if we did triple our inventory overnight, it would bring us back to almost a healthy amount of homes to be on the market. So with that being said, with the inventory, that could be one of the ways that it slows down, but I really don't see that happening. So keep in mind, even in today's market, if we tripled our inventory, it would bring us back kind of to a similar market that we were in this time last year. So, I mean, even then, we were just starting to, see inventory start to drop. Obviously, the pandemic, that slowed things down a lot. But keep in mind, even if we tripled our inventory right now, it would bring us back almost to a healthier market, which, now would probably actually be good for the market. If you are a home buyer, if you're a home seller, obviously right now is the best time to sell just because there is such low inventory. Less inventory, less competition, higher price for your home. So keep that in mind. All right, now let's jump into the second thing that I believe could actually slow down the housing market. All right, so the second thing I believe that could slow down the real estate market in 2021 is a rise in interest rates. Now, we did see a slight increase in interest rates recently, but I'm talking about something dramatic, like let's say a 2 or 3% raise in interest rates. If that happens, then I would see the real estate market slowing down just because the home that you would be able to afford, that would obviously come down with a higher interest rate, and obviously your monthly payment is going to be higher as well. So you would be able to, one, qualify for less home, and your monthly payment would typically be higher. Both of those would occur with a higher interest rate. So I could see that slowing down the real estate market. Now, the Fed has said that they plan to keep interest rates low until 2023. So, take that with a grain of salt. Anything could happen. But I would say if we do see a significant rise in interest rates, that would definitely put a slowdown on the market in 2021. All right, now if you like this video, be sure to check out this video I made where I show you how to keep your finger on the pulse of if interest rates are going to rise or fall. And also be sure to check out this video where I show you just how much a 0.5% can drastically change how much you actually end up paying for your home.